going to be building, what they're going to be crafting. You can see already Gnar has been banned away already. And actually, I'm not really excited to see that Syndra has been banned away, as we were looking through the previous games, and actually we already highlighted that BPI picked Syndra every single game when it was available in their previous game up against Strix.
Yeah, so Hard Random definitely doing some research into here, taking that away, like you're saying. And they don't want to let Lil on something he's really comfortable on. That's a really smart thing to do as a team. You could go for a certain strategy, but your priority, make people play things they're not comfortable with, and then force them into that kind of situation here. We're seeing also the Orianna band out as the last one here at a Hard Random. On the other side, the Blanc, Pantheon, and Aurelia, and I really like the Aurelia band actually against Smurf. We saw him play it twice in the games they won and their best of 3 against Team Turquality, which was no easy feat for them, going 2-1. So some really smart bands coming in the Pantheon. Him and Jarvan, the last 2 days have been really prominent in the jungle.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Pantheon seems to be, I mean, he's either, I'm pretty sure he's 100% pick or ban.
If not, he's really close to that.
Very close. Yeah. I mean, we have seen him so very much. And the fact that he's been banned away, I mean, it's the real statement about how they're already going to be playing. BPI really cautious about that early game. We've already talked about Pantheon's early game presence. Clear may take a little longer, but those ganks are deadly.
And, one thing I want to point out in particular for Juke-Chan, in each of his games, he's played a different jungler. So yeah, you can ban out his Jarvan, Pantheon, something like that, but he went back on Lee Sin, he went back on Olaf. And Olaf in the jungle, that's really such a niche pick. We don't see it that much these days. The person who originally brought it back out actually was Nintendo X over in North America. Recently had a seizure. Hope he's doing well. But just as you're seeing, Janna picked in, Jarvan being picked up here on the side of BPI with the Graves. And Graves, again, another one of those champions we've seen coming around a lot lately.
Yeah, very prominent AD carry at the moment. But the thing that I'm really intrigued about is that Jarvan pick, because we know already that BPI Phoenix, every time it's been available once again, they've taken J4. Crimson has been playing that almost non-stop whenever he has had access to it. And so it's been given to him by HR. They've obviously done their research, and they figured they can handle what Crimson could dish out on Jarvan.
And the thing is about Jarvan, we saw yesterday and we've seen so many times in the past, a Jarvan Rumble combo. I keep pointing out every time I see a Jarvan, I'll always say it because it's so dominating. We even saw it, I believe, in OGN today. Well, not OGN anymore. I think it's LCK. It can be so damn strong. As long as you lock them in that Cataclysm, you take so much damage from the Equalizer that you're going to have a bad time. But then again, we haven't seen Nasus actually play Rumble in the games they've had so far. He played Lissandra in one, Gnar in the other. Obviously, Gnar being banned out here for this one. So maybe we'll see Lissandra come in. And just as I was talking about Juke-Chan just before, about how he's played so many different junglers in the jungle, he picked up a Lee Sin.
Yeah, very strong jungler. Obviously, we're talking about the fact that Pantheon was banned away from him. And, I mean, he's obviously picked another strong early game jungler. Lee Sin, such a presence in that early game. And so Juke-Chan probably has the same kind of game plan, just changing the champion a little bit as well. Lucian in that bot lane. Lucian, Janna, such a strong lane. Those double auto attacks with the enhanced AD can just take down your health bar in seconds. So strong bot lane already starting to form for the Hard Random side, and that Graves has yet to have a support. And as I say that, we do see Nami.
Yeah, we do see Nami, and that was one of the champions I actually saw played up here by Masterwork. But one thing we should point out here for the side of Hard Random, because they had a little bit of a problem coming to this one. So in their round of 32 games, they ran Famco, I believe, in one of the games, and then they ran Kira after that because Famco unfortunately had some problems. Also now, the AD carry, Realzik's not going to be playing for him, who did play Corki twice and Graves once, and I have to bring in One-Shottic because I believe he's having, actually he's in the hospital because he's sick.
Yeah, he's still in the hospital.
So this is a big change-up considering the timing coming to this. You don't want to have any big roster changes, but they have to hope One-Shottic can really keep up, and by giving him a Lucian, someone he's probably comfortable on, it means they're really hoping that they can get him settled, his nerves calmed down, and hope that he can do a really good job here in that bottom lane.
Yeah, there can be a lot of pressure on a sub. The whole weight of and the whole chances of this team's progression weighing on your shoulders. Can you be the same or if not better than Relay?
You look at DP yesterday, Holy Phoenix coming back into the team, and he was the big guy for their team, and yet they got camped constantly. You saw DP try to get him some feed, but when your AD carry falls behind, it's just kind of like, well, crap. Yeah, I mean, what do we have to depend on? And
exactly.
Either way, we should go back to the picks here. Lissandra, going to see her top lane, it seems, on the side of BPI, like we were talking about before with Nasus. So they're going for a kind of AoE kind of composition with the Jarvan. I'm curious to see what they're going to be running top lane, though, to kind of round that comp out with, because they will be up against, it looks like, a Kassadin if that gets locked in.
Yeah, and Kassadin's such a prominent roaming mid laner. I mean, you're right. He can be played top, but
no, you're right as well here, because if a Jarvan is, or not Jarvan, sorry, Jace is picked up with it, then you can have them swap really easily.
That's what I'm thinking. But,
But we're not seeing Kassadin.
That's been snatched away. The dreams have shattered as we see a Swain. And as someone who absolutely loves Swain, this is going to be a fun game for me.
I like this matchup, actually.
You do?
I really like this against Lissandra. If you think about it, right? So Lissandra, one thing that makes her really powerful is she can snare you and claw away, right? She can get that nice distance. Swain, though, it's kind of like with LeBlanc. You put your W down, your snare, right where she would get off with her claw, and she has to choose, do I want to hop there and get snared, or do I want to stay here next to Swain?
So and when he's got his ultimate running, that's a lot of damage.
You cut off her escape mechanism right there, and that allows Lee Sin to come in and make some really big plays. So that's really cool to see. The Xerath on the other side, we saw an amazing Xerath yesterday.
We did.
We really did. And I'm hoping to see Leo kind of play the same if they do lock that in.
Yeah, it's a relatively, I mean, it sounds dangerous to say a safe mid lane pick, but it's you can farm from a distance, especially when you get that blue buff, you can really be at the top of the levels of the CS. You're a big barraging force to be reckoned with in terms of poke. You really, I mean, in the hands of Leal as well, he's going to be basically trying to get Lucian down low, and maybe even Swain wants to get them down as well, because obviously Swain does have some sustain, and that's pretty much the only sustain that Hard Random are running at the moment.
And the thing about Swain is for this, Swain, you have to correct me if I'm wrong, is very susceptible to burst. Because he's one of these sustain mages where in the middle of a fight, he has the ult running the entire time. He's constantly healing up slowly and slowly. But if you burst him down, he's in a really bad position. But you look at the side of BPI, look at their comp. They've got double AP. So this leads to the mindset of, if Graves gets punished, if Juke-Chan wants to constantly kill Riddick's over and over again if he can, then all you have to do is build magic resist against that team, and you're looking pretty good. On the flip side of that, if you stop one AP, you still have another one to worry about. So I'm assuming Riddick is really going to get punished in that bottom lane potentially with Lee Sin. But I think it's going to come down to, are the other lanes confident in their situation? Like, if one of them falls behind, obviously Juke is going to have to come in and protect them. Yeah, and how confident, going back on what you said, how confident is Juke-Chan going to be ganking a lane with a mercenary, with a sub? How confident, he's probably got synergy going on with Relax, and that may not be so relevant when you've got someone who's probably just sitting there, new to the communications, new to the way you structure your ganks. It could throw a bit of a spanner in the works of that bot lane pressure. And we talked about, I think on the first day when we saw the Aces High matches, about, it was number one eSports that ran a really heavy pick comp. They had a Pantheon in that one. So basically Pantheon had, every lane he went to, there was solid CC. It was like 4 out of the 5 members had solid. Yeah, there was, I think, CC. Maokai top lane and Nami Bubba bottom, Ari mid lane. So right now, you look at Juke-Chan, what lanes can he potentially gank? You have the snare out of Swain if he can land it. Jace doesn't really give you too much in terms of a whole lot of damage. He gives you a whole lot of damage, but he doesn't give you much in terms of CC. Bottom lane, the John and knockup can be the big factor for them. But on the other side, Jarvan, he's got the Xerath stun if he can land it, or if they can land it. They have the Nami bubble. They have the Tidal Wave on top of that. They have Lissandra as well. So I want to assume that Crimson's going to be ganking that top lane a lot. And not to mention mid lane. You get a Xerath fed like we saw yesterday, you're going to have such an easy game because he can just 100-0 the opposing AD carry. Xerath does become like a kind of half assassin. When he gets so much AP so early, a stun, a W, a Q, you're dead. And we saw it happening to the AD carries in the previous game, and it's very possible that this could happen again. Yeah, I got to give a shout out to that because Seacook's just dominated people. And I think there was a clip on Reddit. If you can even look at it from yesterday's VOD, around the 23-minute mark, he gets some amazing snipes, amazing predictions in that one. But this game, if you were to give me a prediction right now, looking at the comps, who are you really favored in this? I really love to see a strong Swain Lee Sin synergy. Lots of ganks going on. You just love Swain. You do. There is a bias here, I have to admit. There is a slight bias. Because, I mean, I haven't casted a Swain. That's it. That's the end of that sentence. I was trying to think of a game. No, yet to be seen. I know it has been seen in previous games in that top lane occasionally as a bit of a kind of off-meta pick, but for me, this is going to be really interesting. I'm trying to think back to when I first saw Swain actually play competitively. He ran middle against a LeBlanc. I think this was around the days of like IPL 5. I think it actually was IPL 5. I think Joe and Demon out there are probably watching and can correct me on that. But you ran Swain middle with just like pure health pots and mana pots because you didn't really need some early items on him, and you just want to survive your lane because once you get your level 6, he's going to be really hard to push out, especially if you go into this Rod of Ages build, which I'm expecting Smurf to build. Actually, yeah, I mean, that's intriguing. The fact that they're sending Jace middle as opposed to Swain suggests that they really, I mean, it is not a favorable matchup in his defense. Xerath up against Swain. Swain early, as you've already highlighted, is all about
taking CS that's given to him. Xerath's going to be pushing him to the turret. The only thing you can really do in terms of CSing and enhancing your CS is, I mean, using your W, your AoE stun, to kind of clear the wave somehow or push it back. But against Xerath, he has no hope in hell. And so you've already said that they're quite flexible picks, and they've done just that, sending Smurf in the top lane with Swain, and Kira is going to be rocking Jace in the mid.
All right, guys, go and drop you the game here because we're kicking off our first game of this best of 3 right now. Hard Random over on the blue side, BPI Phoenix over on the red. Obviously, let us know who you guys think is going to win in chat and who you're supporting. Because honestly, like we're saying before, this is going to be one of our closest quarterfinals today. And I want to see how this one's going to break down.
Let's see where this one kicks off, of course. Best of 3 to determine which team is going to advance into the semi-finals to get their slice of 10,000 euros. Hard Random on the left side of your screens, BPI Phoenix on the right. As we kick this one off, you can see already the battle for vision will begin.
Now, I want to see, in the beginning, how Juke-Chan and Crimson are going to interact. Because we saw, the last 2 days, it's been very passive. It's just, let's farm up. Let's not really gang anything until we're around level 6. But the thing about Lee Sin is, if you need to have a strong early game to really make that work throughout the rest. If you're really weak early on, you get ganked early on, then it just puts you so far behind that you are only just a kick bot, later on, just to get someone out of position or someone into position.
It's true. It can be a real issue. Lee Sin, not the strongest late game, unless, of course, he gets that advantage that you've already said. And I mean, Juke-Chan, there's always this tough balance to strike. Lee Sin does need a couple of early, not necessarily kills, but needs an influx of gold early, even if they're just a huge amount of assists. And I mean, if you ask me, I feel like Juke-Chan's going to have to strike a good balance between getting kills for himself, getting himself ahead, because
right.
Like an early game Juke-Chan is dangerous.
Yeah, you have to walk that fine line of, do I want the kills for myself?
Yeah.
Or do I want to give them over to my teammates?
He's going to be
so
sitting there, and they've
okay.
got a low health enemy. He's like, secure the kill, feed my Jace. I think it's going to be this kind of balance, and I think we'll see how far it gets. Of course, Kira, very strong mid lane and prominent with that Jason. He's going to be it's going to be a battle of poke. Both these compositions to me feel not identical, but relatively similar. The fact that both those mid laners are very distance-based. They've got a lot of kind of external damage that they can put out quite safely. And so it's going to be interesting to me to see what's going to be tipping the scales. The junglers is what I've got my eye on. Jarvan up against Lee Sin.
And I'm trying to think about how this game transitions, into the mid to late game, and I'll bring you into that in just a few seconds as we do drop you back in the game. The pause was fixed. I think one of the players was actually just lagging right there, so dropping you back in. But into that late game, Hard Random, their side to me is more about dispersion. It's like, let's have a swing, potentially lock you down. But before that, you want to have Lee Sin kick a person into your team. You want to have Janna separate the rest of their team and get that one guy separated and go for the kill on him. Where on the other side for BPI, they want to be aggressive. They want to poke you down with Xerath, then bam, hit you with the Sandra, hit you with Jarvan, hit you with the Graves combo in the Tidal Wave, and kill you instantly. And, right now, Swain potentially won't be that squishy to get bursted by this combo, but it all comes down to how strong is his early game going to be, how strong is his mid game going to be.
Yep, and talking of his early game, you can see he's picked up the Flask and 3 health pots. He's planning on just getting as much CS as he can pre-level 6. And up against Lissandra, he's going to be up under quite a lot of heavy fire from those Qs. He's got pretty short auto attack range, so he's going to be vulnerable to that damage if he doesn't position himself well around that minion wave. Of course, if he can, he's going to want to force a decision to be made by Nasus between poking him and pushing the wave.
And what's funny between Lissandra and Swain is, they're sustain. Obviously, Lissandra can't heal up like Swain can, but she has no mana problems, especially with that Flask picked up here. Where Swain, every time he last hits, he gets mana back. So looking for a lot of spells to be kicked off between the two. We can see Juke-Chan already getting low in the jungle. We saw this yesterday as well here. So he should be fine. I'm assuming, I would hope he would not die anytime soon. That would be a little bit embarrassing. In the meantime, bottom, we're seeing a little bit of aggression here going on to Ridix.
Yeah, look at this. One-shot, the sub starting aggressive. It's good to see that he's not
feeling confident.
Exactly. He's not in that mindset. He's not feeling kind of cautious. Doesn't feel perhaps the pressure that is currently mounting on his shoulders. And that bot lane looking very aggressive, applying pressure both to Ritix and Masterwork on Nami, forcing all of the health pots from both sides of things. In fact, yeah, just a mana pot left for Masterwork, and he's around half health already.
Yeah, so good start here. And, that aggression. I mean, you're on this side, you're like, oh, if you're Ridix, he's probably going to play a little bit passive, he's subbing in. You're not going to feel as comfortable as Realzix would if he was here. But he just comes out of the gate blasting and, hit that level 2 a little bit early, go straight in, try to do some harass. But unfortunately for him, BPI have sustained out of the Nami. So the damage he's doing isn't going to stick as much as he would hope. But still, it applies the pressure. It keeps that mindset inside of BPI thinking, he's going gung-ho. He's not afraid to fight us. So maybe we need to play a little bit more careful.
Yeah, and that's really the intention of this kind of matchup. When you've got the Jarn and the Lucian, it's just basically early game poke. Admittedly, it doesn't work so well up against the sustain that the Nami provides, but it's still enough to perhaps push them out of lane, force them back away from a bit of CS, and it's working already. 21-18, slight advantage already tipping in favor of one shot, and he's going to continue to do that as they do secure some vision as we reach that 4-minute mark, as they know there's going to be potentially a Jarvan on the prowl for bot lane.
Yeah, great read by Juke there to just kind of have that feeling that Crimson was going to be coming around for that mid lane gank. So he spots him out. Yeah, there's a ward placed down, but he knows exactly where he is, and he keeps Kira alive. And one thing Kira was doing, which you don't see right there, which I was just about to praise him on, was the fact that he wasn't sitting in the middle of the minion wave, forcing Leo to either go for the full Q across the minion wave or go for the poke. But as he stands in the wave, which you're seeing right there, with Leo just kind of reposition a little bit, he's trying to get that extra poke in to make it so Kira can get low and back away. Because look at the CS difference. It's already, about 6, going to approach about 10 here in just a few.
Yeah, and that's the power really Xerath Jace can have early, is that he can give just as much as Xerath can, if not more. Those auto attacks in between. I mean, there's a pretty strong cooldown on the level 1, level 2 Xerath Q, and in between that, you've got a whole lot of Jace AD auto attacks coming in that mid lane. In the meantime, though, you can see Juke picking up Krugs as well in that top lane. Smurf doing a pretty fantastic job putting a bit of abuse onto Nass, is that he's going to be taken away with a heavy amount of damage.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
And he's already used his entire flask down to his last mana biscuit. And he's actually level on CS, and that's not something you should have. Swain should always be struggling to pick up CS pre-level 6, and that's not the case at the moment.
One thing that at least BPI get to keep in mind, think about Swain and think about his wave clear, right? Not really existent unless you want to run your ultimate and use all your mana, right? And you can also think about the split push potential, which you have out of Aurelia. You have out of a Caston, which can also do that, which, we saw Smurf playing in their best of 3 against Team Tier quality. So he's not running that this time. He's running more of a, hey, I'm going to group up in team fight kind of champion. And that is going to limit HR's possibilities coming into, the mid to late game. Their potential to apply pressure of a split push is going to be completely gone.
It's true, you're right. There isn't a split pusher on that team. We'll look down that lineup, and there's no one that really stands out as split pushing potential. Obviously, on the other side of things, BPI do have something up their sleeves in the form of Lissandra. It looks like Crimson was thinking about something on that top lane and changing his mind. There was a bit of vision did catch him out, though, near that tri-bush.
They know exactly where he is, too. Look at this, Kira and Juke just preparing for him. And luckily for Crimson right there, he does put a ward down, so he does spot them coming in. But that could have been bad. That could have been first blood. Oh, look at this. Swain might get caught out. Smurf getting slowed up.
Smurf felt a bit of false confidence as he saw his teammate in the river. And here comes Lissandra, and Crimson's there as well. But here comes the cavalry. They're trying to give him some sort of support using that acceleration gate to evade the Xerath ultimate. And now Crimson's the one in trouble. Crimson's the one going low, and Nasus could very well be in trouble. The skill shot doesn't connect, though, and it's turning the tide once again. It's looking so back and forth. It's a 1-for-1 exchange as they use that movement speed to try and get away, try and evade the potential Xerath skill shots, and he does. Kira now forced to run away, bashing Leal away. He really knows he's in trouble. He's evading everything, doing so much damage, but there was no mana on the side of Smurf. He couldn't contribute, and it ends in a 2-1.
So close right there for him to be able to turn that. He dodged so many skill shots, but in the end, it just wasn't enough. If he had mana, I almost certainly thought he would have been able to kill Lowell there, or maybe Crimson. But that started off with what? Smurf getting cut out in the river, trying to go for a little bit of a fight. In the meantime, he gets locked down by the Lissandra, does escape with the help of the Flash, and he does get the Calvary to come in. But like you said, it was a 1-for-1 trade, turning 2-for-1 at the end of things. So BPI off to a pretty strong start. You can see they really built up about an 800 to 1,000 gold lead. And again, like we were saying before, this is probably one of the closest quarterfinals we're going to have, and I honestly still cannot tell you who's going to win.
No way, Jose. I mean, looking at the way the CS is going, absolutely entirely equal on both sides. It looks like Juke is, meantime, making a pretty big move towards Masterwork. Surely going to be catching him out. Evades the bubble nicely. Sustains there from Masterwork, though, as the Ignite comes in. They really want to stop this from happening, but not going to happen. Ritix, though, looking to respond in force. Oh, and looks like Lissandra's there just to confirm the kill. Pick up the assist and get a bit of extra gold in his pockets. Nasus turning his attention to Demonko here.
Yeah, hard random got a little bit too careless right there. Demonko going to go down as well. And that's BPI picking up 2 more kills, maybe 3 if one shot 6 around a little bit too long. He will back away. The Cataclysm is up here at Crimson if he can get, in that distance, in that range of it, and it looks like he wants to go for it.
He wants to kill. The smite came in, so did the heal, though, and Lissandra's there just to ensure his security as he tanks a couple of those turret hits to end that one. Oh! No! Kira, no vision needed, manages to connect as he takes down Crimson to level it out just a little bit. as already 8 minutes in, we have 8 kills on the board. 12.7 to 11.5 in terms of gold, and BPI still leading the fray.
And now you have to wonder, where was the teleport out of Smurf to join the party? Because right now, again, we talked about this before. Is he going to be able to split push? No. Will he do some good damage to that turret? Not really. He does have the minions, obviously, there to do some to do damage to it. But he doesn't apply the same pressure like an Aurelia would, and if he teleported down, it could have been a little bit of a different story. So that will be 2 more kills coming for BPI, 1 coming in for Hard Random. And either way, this is a strong start at BPI. I like their teamwork so far. It's really been on par.
They do seem to be very tight-knit, I think I haven't seen a mistake so far. A huge outright mistake from BPI. Obviously, Crimson perhaps getting caught out in that top lane could have been most definitely one of them. But looks like Crimson is in a bit of trouble here. Manages to get away from the Swain snare, but that may just be a bit of a consolation prize. Darting away with the flag, and Dragon just getting away with a fraction of health as he lives to fight another day.
Yeah, a great rotate coming in. They do not stop the red buff, unfortunately. As you can see, the ward here helping them give a little bit of vision where Lissandra was coming from. But you can see, Hard Random, they're trying to make plays. They don't want to fall behind early on. And you can see Leo, the damage he can already do against Kira here in that mid lane.
Yeah, he's picked up his Fiendish Codex and his Forbidden Idol, I think it's called. Don't want to get that wrong. Yeah, Forbidden Idol. These steps towards his Morello Namacon. His teammate in the top lane has already completed his Nasus, picking up his Morellos and movement speed boots as well. Over on the Swain side of things, we do have the Catalyst. So that's the first step towards that Rod of Ages, which is a pretty standard item. But looks like Kira's in trouble.
Well, let's see if he can get away from this one. Nope, I can't hit the right button, and we will miss the first kill here so far today. Hopefully the only one. Again, guys, I apologize. I'm the one observing, so it's a little bit difficult to catch all the action that's going down. But we do have, what was that, a 1v1? Maybe we should get the replay in there in just a few seconds as we do see the Dragon being started up here. BPI looks like they should have full control of it. They have all 5 men down here. Juke-Chan might try to make something happen, though. He has a ward. He's going to go in for the smite still. He doesn't get it, and he's going to get locked down. The bubble coming in, and Juke-Chan will go down. BPI netting themselves another kill.
Yeah, and if you turn my attention to my screen, we can see this replay here. You can see just how quickly Kira was eliminated. As you can see, literally just Lissandra roam straight into that lockup, and his Zerath ultimate from safety to wrap it all up. Don't know if the Lissandra ult was necessary, but all said and done, pretty strong gank.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, that's, I guess, the power of that double AP. Lissandra makes it so Zerath cannot possibly, unless you're me, miss your ultimates when the target can't even move. And that's free kills all day as long as they keep doing that.
Yeah, and I mean, you'd expect more vision in River. I feel like the fact that Nasus could walk all the way down to that bush, sit in that bush, and then proceed to claw in, that's a vision problem. That's what that is. Yeah,
it's unfortunate here, but we will have the first turret of the game taken on the top side here by Smurf, able to push that in from that earlier gank we saw Nasus teleporting down towards that bottom lane. He's ahead in CS, yes, but he hasn't really been around the map to help out the same. He hasn't been around the map to apply the pressure that we've seen his counterpart Nasus be able to do.
You're right, he hasn't been a presence yet. Oh, Kira's going aggressive. He really wants Crimson's blood, and he's going to get it. The Ignite tick goes away. Ticks away, I should say. As Kira now evading beautifully the skill shots thrown out by Lair, and he has got fast feet at the moment.
He does. He's cooking so fast to just escape those. I mean, we saw him top lane earlier on when that first blood came in. He escaped almost every single skill shot. I mean, either way, a great ward. Great deep vision put in just to punish Crimson for whenever he does approach his own jungle here. So Hard Random, they fell behind early on, but we're seeing how they're getting back in this game. This isn't the first time that they've gone for these invades onto buffs.
Yeah, and I mean, it feels like these invades, look at these deep wards. You're right, absolutely right. We're talking about vision before, and there is such a vision presence from Hard Random in the enemy jungle. They're absolutely everywhere. There's a swarm of them, and there are kind of responses from BPI. There are pink wards trying to spot these out, but they're threading through at the moment and going unnoticed.
And you see this, look at that. Nasus trying to go in for that regank middle. Kira predicting it, putting a ward behind him, sitting back, playing a little bit passive here. He doesn't want to lose his blue buff. He doesn't want to lose the stacks that he's building up or lose the ability to stack them as quick as he can. Currently at 301 out of 750. So great awareness out of Kira. Really proving he's a solid player. But now Crimson, he's looking for that gank bottom. I believe he's not been spotted going in here. And I don't think he's going to be making the same move as Crystal did yesterday, where he camped in that bush for 3 minutes, almost, just to make a kill happen.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. The turret is so low. Now. I mean, that's it. The turret's so low, they're going to be forced to back away from this one. They have the potential to dive, and they're going to. Here comes the wave. Juke-Chan's made his way in as well. Rittik's dancing around. It's a 3v3. Made 3v4 as Smurf makes an appearance. The first time we've seen Swain in the action, and very little to show for it. Finally takes down Masterwork, but look at the damage that's already been done. Crimson's going low. He's going so low. He's picked up a double. Looking for a third now as Nasus falls. And that is a triple for the Swain, who we'd already highlighted as pretty quiet.
Yeah, very quiet, but that teleport completely shutting us up. Fantastic job by him. He's looking for more here on the Riddix. He dodges the collateral damage. He might go down. He will fall here to Xerath, but now Riddix, one more Q from Juke Chen could pick him up. He's going to go in. He gets the kill, and now Leo trying to escape. He gets back with Demonko, and Kira off to the side. Does a little bit of poke here from that shock blast. Not enough to pick up that kill, but Smurf, he is finally showing up in this game. 4-1. He was 1-0 before that fight. Picked up 3 kills and an assist. Fantastic job by him.
Lale stunned him as he was connecting his Q. That was a mid-air stun. Didn't stop the Q connecting. Fantastic work from Juke Chen there to bring that one out. And look at the gold leveled out now. Just 1,000 separating these two teams. And of course, it's worth highlighting that gold difference makes such a big difference in this patch. Obviously, no global gold from that Dragon. Turrets, of course, given a slight less amount of gold, the first tier turrets anyway. And so it's all about CS. And it's all about winning your lane on with these kills. In the moment, 8-10. 2 kills separating the two teams. And it looks like Kira's trying to evade another gank from Crimson.
I don't know whether or not it's Kira just that damn good at dodging skill shots or if it's Lale missing, because he makes it look so easy. And I can tell you this, whenever I play League, I can't dodge like that. Yeah. Maybe it's a little bit of both, but either way, it's fantastic to see here that skill level out of this Jace. I mean, he's already fast, but either way, building up that tier still has a Hex Drinker done. But now, about 14.5 minutes in, Dragon come up in a minute 40, so let's take stock of things. Let's take stock of where we are in this game before that Dragon comes up, because we're almost certainly expecting a fight there.
Yeah, you're right. So he's already highlighted the goal difference. Turrets now level, of course, 1 for 1. As we have a little look towards the top lane, you can see 4-1. We saw the triple kill already to Smurf, but he's sitting so very comfortably in terms of kills. Got that Rod of Ages completed as well. And when we're talking about CS, we're talking about goal difference, 115 to just 91 in that bot lane. One shot, he was starting aggressive, looking strong, and not so strong at the moment. As look at Kira getting eliminated once more. That lockup from Lissandra combined with Lale's ultimate is such a strong combination.
It is. That's the second time we've seen it now. It seems to be their go-to combo when punishing teams in this mid lane while they're technically kind of still in their laning phase. But we do have, tied up in turrets 1-1. Dragon, about 50 seconds to go here. BPI with that kill. Look at a push onto this turret. And, with this dive comp kind of that they have with the Lissandra, they have to be careful on HR side to just not engage us. Let it go. Because right now, the real fight is coming at Dragon. They want to be able to pick this up here. Keep in mind, BPI, they picked up the first one of the game. And when that second one's going to make things a little bit easier here for them to just wave clear. And, one thing we should point out as well, look at the kill spread on their team. 3 kills top lane, 3 kills jungle, 3 kills middle, 2 kills AD carry, and 0 on the support. Just a perfect spread on their team. And we talked about the AD carry. If he gets, punished early on, they could be lacking attack damage in these fights. You know what? He hasn't been punished at all.
No, Rittix has had not a quiet lane. He's definitely been kind of center of the action during some of these fights, but still 2 for 1. He's got 2 kills to his name, just dying once and 3 assists as well. He's got plenty of gold to play with as well, reaching that 6K mark alongside Xerath. In fact, they're almost exactly level in terms of gold received, Lale and Rittix. And Scuttlecrab does go down, this time to hard random, so they have some secured vision, some guaranteed vision if the Drake gets completed. But Rittix making short work of Lucian, eliminating him from the game, and at such a crucial moment.
That vision was fantastic to have, but right now, losing your AD carry is the biggest problem here. Juke Chen, he's going to try to go for the steal, most likely over this wall. And you can see Jace with the poke combined. It can be very deadly. BPI being very careful, not trying to go too deep into this one. Dragon going to get stolen away by Jace here. Now Juke Chen going to go down.
This is a risk. It looks like Smurf's in trouble. He's got his ultimate on. He's got some huge amount of sustain, huge amount of tankiness, but it's not going to happen as Rittix adds yet another head to his mantelpiece. Looking for another, though, forces the flash with the Cataclysm as Crimson is looking for more. Not going to be able to happen as Kira and co get away scar-free. But still, Smurf and Juke Chen for a Dragon, I'd say that's pretty worthwhile. Yeah,
they steal it away. They get the extra 6% AD and AP here. But right now, BPI comes down to this. Can they push onto a tier 2 turret? They don't have ultimate up on Nezis just yet here. One Shot has joined the party yet again. Leo getting very low in HP, forced to pop that barrier, and it looks like he should be able to back away. Or will One Shot let him? He's still continuing trying to go in. Kira
on the
one more combo. Forces the flash. That is big.
That was a huge play, and I think Lale knew what was coming. You could see the Jace, obviously, with the vision provided by the minions, and he knows that Kira looking for more still. She's trying to do something, not quite going to happen. That last second of the recall, of course,
that was his ignite.
To be interrupted. He ignited him?
Yeah, he ignited him as well, trying to stop the back and do the damage, but fortunately, can't really stop at that last, I think, half second from them back into base. That's a big summoner down here. But either way, it looks to pushing onto this turret. We see on the bottom side, Riddix getting out of position, and Crimson trying to defend the turret.
They're looking for...
Oh, the teleport coming from behind.
This is bad. Here comes Lissandra. Lissandra's got her ultimate up, and one shot's already half health. This could get bad, but Crimson's already going low. Big ultimate down. Here comes Lissandra with a beautiful lockup, and look at the health bars fall. Demonko's going low. Flashes force. Smurf doing his best to slow them down, but he's been locked up by the bubble, and this is such a strong combination of players and champions as just Crimson trades off. One shot's going so low. Not going to happen. Even that turret shield is going to be a little bit of a relief for him as that one closes out. And 3 for 1.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at that again here in just a few seconds because the combo that we talked about before, the Lissandra and the Graves, the complete decimate entire team was using its full effect there. And let's go and take you to this replay. Let's go and get that on your screen and kind of show you exactly what happened in that fight because it was fantastic.
It was glorious. This Nasus play going straight in, rooting them. He gets exhausted, but that's not going to stop him as he throws his ultimate in. And look at the damage Ritix can exert straight on into the Jace, eliminates him, and then it's just clean up crew from here. You can see Smurf was doing his best to slow them, try and put some, like anything he can do, but he gets stunned, he gets locked up into a Nami bubble, into just the huge amount of damage brought out by both Graves and Xerath, and it just gets worse from there.
Yeah, it does, and we're going to head back to live now because... Well, right now, BPI, 17-9, 19 minutes in. They are on a roll right now with the goal difference that they have, about 6,000, if I can do math appropriately. And Juchan getting a little bit too deep.
Yeah, forced to use his beautiful Lee Sin mobility to get away from that one as he glides to safety. Nass is looking a little low on mana. He's going to be forced to go back to base, but he's probably got a handsome amount of gold to spend. Just 800, actually, as Crimson has made a flash and flag play.
Oh my.
Kicked away. Kira's going to be taking him down. That name didn't quite roll off the tongue, but he gets the kill, and now Xerath is looking for Juke.
This is the Juke master. He didn't get hit by a single Xerath ulti charge right there. And Kira, again, escaping with that red buff, picking up the kill. And hard random, you know, just every time something like this happens, they slowly claw their way back in the game. You know, they are still down 7 kills. They are still down quite a bit of gold here, 2 turrets. Luckily for them, though, they are tied up in Dragons. And, you know, speaking of Dragons, I think that's the next big play that we're going to have happen here out of these teams. Yep,
it's going to be a battle for vision until then, of course. It's basically just looking to secure any sort of ward coverage they can around both the Dragon side and also the enemy jungle. You can see big spread, nice spread from BPI in the enemy jungle. Ritix feeling pretty safe there. He knows he's got, I think there's 4, almost 5 wards in the bottom side jungle. And that gives them enough coverage that means they can set up a play here towards the Krugs.
Yeah, they want to try to catch them out here and go for a nice cheeky kill. I mean, we saw Ritix do it before, right before that Dragon on a one-shot. And Cullen going to come out, going to be enough to steal away the Krug. And the rest of them just going to back away. And you point this out, you know, the wards they have down 2 here, 1 here at red buff, it prevents them from getting ganked here by anyone else in their team. So they can afford to play that aggressive. And that forces Hard Random to play really safe. And blue buff almost not picked up here by Kira. But his Manamune, it's almost transformed. When he has a Brutalizer done on top of that, he's going to have a lot of penetration, a lot of extra damage. And that's what's really curious to me is that he went for the Hex Drinker. Like, he went for the laning phase item, which you can understand. I mean, Xerath does quite a bit of damage once that magic resist. But if you go that tier into the Brutalizer, into the Manamune, into the Last Whisper, you have so much damage that's unstoppable. Now Demonko, he's going to get caught out.
Yeah, just
or not.
To Gale away from that one. And, I mean, the thing you were highlighting just there about Jace, I think it's a question of confidence. I feel like, you know, he didn't feel like he had the advantage of Ilail, perhaps as an individual, and so chose to play the matchup safely, play it like a... I mean, a little, I don't want to say fearful, but he was very respectful of what Lael could dish out in lane.
I wonder if the Hex Drinker came in, because I didn't actually spot what time it came in.
Oh, it was his first
after
item.
He got ganked by Lissandra and Xerath. Because obviously you're up against a double AP combo that does a lot of burst, and I think maybe after that he was like, you know what, I need the extra shield. I need to survive this because this is going to hurt.
And he knew it's pretty relentless. I mean, there's very little you can do with such a long-distance Lissandra Claw into the root, into the ultimate, into the Xerath ultimate. It's a very strong combination of abilities, and I think you're right. I think that's probably a big part of why that item got picked up as early as it did. Still, moving into that 22nd minute now, you can see that the gold lead that was just 1,000. Bear in mind, just 1,000 separating these teams. About 7, make it 10 minutes ago, and now we see almost 7,000 separating the 2 teams. 39,000, just 32. As these teams are advancing perhaps towards the Dragon. 20 seconds until that one rises back from its cave. And once again, we're talking about Battle for Vision. Look at the risks Duke is taking just to try and clear out a ward.
We're going to catch out someone here. Xerath Ultimate's going to be raining in yet again, connecting decently well. Swain getting locked down by the bubble right into a Xerath Ultimate. And that will be a free kill not coming in. And again, we talked about this before. Losing someone right before Dragon is the worst thing you can have happen. However, Hard Random, they've proved before in that last Dragon alone that they can steal it away. So I think BPI might play a little bit safer here this time. Maybe not try to go for Dragon just yet. But they're looking to steal this red buff here. And this is really risky.
This is a huge risk. Masterwork going solo, flash forced away, and look at Kira, locked up once again. Nasus just a little too strong with the Lissandra ultimate. Crimson's going hard, and he gets another. Looking for more, though. He's going pretty low himself. The damage from one shot is not to be laughed at as Ritix dives in with this huge barrage of Graves damage. He's already taken 3 down, looking for the 4th, but Demonco gets away.
And a big mistake here by a hard random to try to contest that red buff. That should have been a kill on a Masterwork when we saw Kira jump over the wall and go for him, but he didn't get the auto attack off. He tried to go for it, but he canceled it too early, and that would have finished him off and ended them at least 1 kill, but they still would have lost 3 in the end, and they still now would have lost Dragon. So now we're going to see the second Dragon going to the side of BPI, or at least the second stack, and that lead just continues to grow even further. 10K now here.
Yeah, and I mean, Ritix, look at that scoreline. 9
It's impressive.
to 1.
That is impressive.
Huge. And on Graves, the Graves-Lucian matchup, interesting, because, I mean, it kind of comes down to the individual player. Lucian should have a slight advantage, perhaps, in the very early game, but regardless.
I think it came down to the interaction between Nasus and bottom lane. Because you remember, he teleported bottom lane and it netted him quite a few kills.
It was like his second TP.
Yeah, and that fed him, quite a few. It fed him enough to get snowballing in this game. And he's not stopped from here. He's not looked back. 9-1-6, like you pointed out. You even have 3-0-6 here in that mid lane, but Riddick's just catching out one shot.
Oh, God.
One more attack will do it, and you're not going to escape that one. He's now legendary at 10 kills and 1 death.
Yeah, and you can see Jukechan was on his way to try and keep his AD carry alive, but time was of the essence. Kira's in trouble, though. The wave's going to catch him out after that. Hitstrinker is popped. He knows he's going to be going low. Manages to evade the Xerath ultimate. Not quite going to evade the Q and Crimson combination as he does fall once again. And they're just getting caught out time and time again. Surely not. Jukechan trying to make something happen. Gets the kick onto Ritix, but Ritix laughs in his face as he throws a buckshot into the blind man. And now look at Smurf's health disappear as well. Another head added as 4 members once again on those timers.
The lockdown was just crazy. It was a Nami bubble into a Xerath stun into a knockup, and you could not do anything about that. And you remember, Alex, I was talking to you yesterday about this. Towards the end of a game, you lose one guy, and then you lose another, then you lose another. Like, you kind of chain that effect when it's not a team fight, and it goes downhill really quickly for you. Now they're going to lose an inhibitor turret here because their wave clear was down, and it's just now finally come back up. But they can't afford to even get close to this. They know Lissandra's ultimate's back up. They know that Xerath stun can be really crucial, and that turret will fall.
It's going to keep falling. It seems to be a bit of a bit of a slip-up, really, for Hard Random. This past 5, make it 8 minutes, have been a real crucial kind of tide and time changer. As you can see, 25-10 now, as that gold lead gets ever bigger. And, of course, those turrets are a huge contributor to that. 6-2 now in favor of BPI Phoenix.
And now the question comes down to, can they finish the game? Right? So we saw, number 1 eSports in the first quarterfinal we had on Monday. They had a big lead. They had a substantial lead by 8,000, and they didn't know how to finish the game. They kept depending on picking someone off by sitting in a bush, and they couldn't make that happen, and because of that, they ended up losing that game. Now, on the side of BPI, this is their chance to show, 26 minutes in, that they have what it takes to finish off the game here. And, Hard Random, they're going for an alley-oop. They're trying to go for a Hail Mary right now, and Riddick's going to get caught out and completely bursted down. And now from that, BPI have to be extra careful.
They have to be, and or not. NASA's making an appearance again. This roaming Lissandra works wonders up against Jace, unable to invade that one as well. And now Smurf potentially in trouble. He's slowed, he's locked up. Bubble into Q from Lee Sin, keeping himself safe as Xerath picks that one up, and that is their response. Every time Hard Random seemed to have a slight advantage, a slight foot up, BPI knocked them back down.
That just, Jukechan got caught out. Actually was trying to back away here, and he should go down from this. He's going to be chased by the fish here, and he will get the Q over the... Actually, flashes as well. I'm not sure exactly why he went for that one, but the stun will hit. He actually a nice safeguard away for this one. Crimson get pushed up by the Monsoon. Goes right back in on Demonco, gets the dunk, and now look at that one shot. It's going to fall from this one. The stand-in for their team, fortunately having a really rough game at 0-6. Jukechan going back and realizing he's dead, and that will be almost a delayed ace.
It was almost a delayed ace. Kira getting caught out so often. I mean, he built the Hex Drinker. He knew what was going to be coming to him. And that combination, the Lissandra ult straight on in. I don't think Nasus has ulted anyone else.
Why? I mean, who does he need
Why
to?
would he? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And, right now, even with that kill we saw HR get onto Riddick's, didn't matter. Because they still won a fight 4v5 here. But look at this Baron being started off here. Jace off the side, trying to do some good damage. Crimson getting low. Heal being used. Baron down about 2,000 health here. And Kira's trying to go for the steal, but he can't connect the Q that he needs to. And that will be Baron picked up here by Riddick's.
Riddick's picked that one up quite nicely, and Kira's just doing his best to kind of snatch as many Baron buffs as he can, but the presence of Riddick's means that they don't want to take any of these risks. Actually, Masterbuck recalling straight on a ward, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh no, the enhanced Baron recall so quick. Kira unable to react, and as those guys head on back to base, happy to spend even more gold that they're currently sitting on. Over 2,000 was in the hands of Crimson as he does opt to pick up a Randuin's Omen. Alongside Nami, who's enhancing her sight, still getting a bit of extra health. And actually interesting to see the Ardent Sensor on Nami. Not an item we always see in the hands of an army support.
Yeah, I mean, he's 0-2-20. You know, he's got 8,500 gold. He has more almost than the AD carry of the other team. He has more than the top lane of the jungle. Like, that's how far ahead he is. He's like, you know, I can build whatever I want. Even has a tier. You know, why not?
Just because.
Just because. And you know, there's a couple things we need to point out right now for this game. First, let's start with this. The fact that there is a huge CS discrepancy top lane, about 60 CS. We talked about, you know, Swain has a hard time, last team has a hard time wave clearing. Well, you're seeing the reaction, or the result from that right now. And this is really hurting, you know, hard random currently. In the meantime, we did have Anazis go down. Going to be going in now with Crimson, getting very low on HP. And let's see if he goes down.
This is going to be bad. Look at that. They're all locked up into that Cataclysm, forced to use his ultimate to try and force them away. But Smurf going low once again. It's an all too familiar tale. This time, though, Kira looking strong. He's already taken down 3, looking for another one. Surely not, though. He's so low, but Xerath has nothing to throw at him. Gets another alongside one shot as they manage to balance this table out quite nicely. 4 for 3 exchange, and this time for the first time in a long time in favor of hard random.
That's what they needed to get back in this game here. They were able to pick up those 4 kills, and that really, you know, kind of gets them going in terms of momentum. You know, their mid lane not that far behind in CS. Bot lane is a little bit of a discrepancy, but you know, those little picks, those little moments can easily get you back in a game. And you know, BPI, we were questioning, can they finish the game? How strong are they going to be now from this point on? Little plays like that, you know, makes you lose confidence as a player, as a viewer, as a caster in that team. And you got to keep your morale up. You know, you got to stay focused. You know, wipe that one off. Be like, all right, we know we messed up there. It's a bad engage. Let's regroup. Let's go back into this. We still have a giant lead. They know they do. Look at the goal difference alone, and then just come back at it again.
Yeah, and come back at it indeed. They know Dragon's going to be taken, and look how fast Crimson has made his way back over there. The TP's coming in fact, from Smurf, and Kira's been locked up once again. It's an oh, surely not. It's something for the first time I think we've ever seen. Kira has survived the Nami bubble lockup, or the Lissandra into Nami bubble lockup. Kira going to be a bit confused as to how he's still alive. As he's going to be so used to being already looking at a grey screen. But no, he gets away with that one. Dragon is picked up as well. It gives him the second stack now for the hard random side. And of course, that's going to give them that 15% extra damage to towers, which they need to progress perhaps in this counter pushing. You already said BPI strongly in the lead, but they're looking not like they're faltering to finish, but I mean, we're at the 30-minute mark now, and they want to be closing it soon.
I mean, yeah, they could afford to lose that last fight and lose probably even another and still be okay in terms of gold and everything. But the later the game goes on, you know, things become a little bit rougher. Right now, Smurf, he's building towards his Zonias, but he really doesn't have that much in terms of anything in these fights except his CC. And once he gets that Zonias, like that gives him a free buy, you know, through the Lissandra ultimate right after it's done, pop that on, you can get healed up, and look at that, Rick's kind of getting caught out.
He got caught out so heavily,
oh,
Swain got taken away, but the heal is used. Great sustain from Nami. Masterwork keeping his AD carry alive, and that's what you need to do at this stage in the game. 31 minutes in, Ritix did get caught out. That's the first time we've really seen the power of Swain's lockup, that AoE stun, or I should say root. Actually, not enough to secure the AD carry kill.
Thing is, we just talked about, you know, you can afford to throw one fight, but you can't keep affording to mess up like this. You know, someone get out of position, Swain get a nice catch. Like, you need to focus up here and finish this game off. Remember, this is the best of 3. This is just the first game. You still have another one to go at least.
Yeah, and they need to kind of... You were talking about the relevance of the time and as this game goes on. Right now, the level advantage that is currently in the hands of BPI is huge. Look at Nasus in that top lane. Level 15 to Smurf's 12. 3-level discrepancy. Unbelievable. In the jungle, just 1. Crimson 14 to 13. Mid lane, actually pretty level, but the AD carries, again, 2 levels between them as well as the support. So Ritix 16 just to 1 shots 14. And that makes a huge difference. Levels sometimes go a bit unnoticed, but that's a huge spike.
Especially when Riddick's is like a caster AD.
Yeah, exactly.
Levels
17 now.
So
He's just
much
got
damage.
17.
Oh, Kira, you're dead, son. You're in a bad spot here. You're going to get locked down. He's dead from this one. BPI gets a nice catch. Maybe looking for more here on Namalko. Xerath ultimate's going to rain in. Can he connect him? And he does some good damage with it, but it's not enough to finish him off. But it does give him enough damage to force him back and get an open inhibitor.
Kira is shaking his head. He's seen this so many times now. There's so many different ways that this lockup can be forged. You have the Lissandra initiating, you have Nami initiating, even a Xerath stun to start it all off. But it all ends the same, and it ends with him now on 8 deaths.
I bet he thinks his client's broken. Like, why is my screen always gray? I don't know what's going on here, guys. Well, either way, I mean, he's had some really good damage. He's had some really good plays despite, you know, these 8 deaths that he's been able to accumulate, to rack up for himself. But either way, it's not over. The poke you've seen him do, like with the Black Cleaver and the Last Whisper, is insane. As long as he can stay alive and poke them down, you know, BPI are struggling to go for a hard engage.
They seem to be trying to find an avenue, a route into finishing this game off. Smurf has been caught out.
Wow, look at
the damage. That was just Lael. That was absolutely nothing brought in by Rittix, who was, of course, such an instrumental factor at this stage in the game.
Look
Level
at the item
17,
difference
look at his
them.
I was about to say, Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, Yomu's, and the Last Whisper. Throw in Berserker Greaves as if he needed attack speed, and he is a demon at this stage. But let's see how far that's going to get them. Mid-turret's really struggling to go down. They're doing their very best, but the wave clear seems a little too strong from Hard Random, and it looks like BPI may have to go back to the drawing board unless they fancy the chances of diving.
Yeah, Super Minions have finally started to push in through that bottom lane. They're starting to join the party here and apply some pressure onto that Nexus turret. So right now, you know, BPI, take your time. There's no rush here. You have Baron, 35 seconds. All right, you know, keep that in the back of your head. Just keep slowly whittling away at this turret. Don't get hard engaged. Don't get out of position, Rittix. Let those Super Minions push through, and then when one person leaves, go in and combo someone and end the game.
Yeah, and you can see the confidence in Rittix. He's at the front line. He is an AD carry. He's the man at the front, and that shows both his confidence and also his trust in his teammates that they have that follow-up. They have the CC to keep him safe and sound, and also the sustain. It's worth highlighting, of course, with the Ardent Sensor is an item that is really kind of potent on Nami because she can go ahead and give him 25% extra attack speed. Just throw Graves, you know, this very 14-2 fed Graves, 25% extra attack speed.
And he already has an attack speed steroid off of his E, off of his dash, so he's going to have some pretty crazy attack speed now on top of that damage. Look at that Baron falling very, very quickly. We see Lee Sin, we see Jace coming in from the side here, potentially trying to steal it away. It's a really risky Baron right now to happen.
Oh,
look at
no.
Rittix, look at the damage he's doing!
Zerathot's coming in, they're trying to find Juke, and he's doing just that. Juke, in a way, doesn't quite manage to evade the last shot, though, as 3 bodies already littered the battlefield. Looking for a 4th, though, as Demonko gets chunked by Lissandra's Q, and that's going to be the start. That's going to be the key into the door of the enemy base, as they're going to start making a move for yet another inhibitor.
And it looked like they even tried to finish it there for a second, or at least thinking about it. They don't have Baron buff because they don't need it. And that will be the second inhibitor turret falling. Second inhibitor fall right after. Maybe they're going to go for a third, or maybe they're going to go for the Nexus turrets. They do have Super Minions pushing bomb side. They have a giant wave here top side, and they could potentially take down one Nexus turret.
They could do 14 seconds on the main body of the attack. Kira and One Shot still watching those timers tick away, and they are doing such fast damage. Rittix, there's potential. They can finish right here. This Nexus is going to fall. Yep. BPI are pretty safely secured game 1 in this best of 3. It took them 10 turrets, took them 35 minutes, but BPI Phoenix are our victors of game 1.
Really well done by them. I mean, it was a little bit risky at the end with that Baron. They were